go. Okay, we got, okay, looks like we got, oh!
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07
Oh my
p.m.
God!
Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission
Wow,
to
what
the
a
moon,
historical
a new
thing!
chapter
Oh
of
my
the
God!
exploration of our celestial
Wait,
neighbor is complete.
historical
Integrity's astronauts
moment.
back on Earth.
Dude, this is many years after the first American man went to the moon. Oh my
And the landing and
God.
support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
Coast to San Diego.
We are all breathing a sigh of relief. So much excitement. We're clapping with everybody else.
So good.
We're watching it. As you just heard, Rob Navias, the NASA commentator there, saying that this was pretty much a perfect landing with precision, the way that it oriented itself. Sunny, Dave, give us your thoughts as you're watching. As you're seeing everything work the way that it's supposed to?
I'm super excited for these guys. And, you know, it's funny because you do this like check, check, check as one thing after another. As we were watching all the parachutes
so
come out,
cool.
there's 11 on this vehicle. So when you, one after another, and you can feel when the mains come out. And then it's like, okay, great. That's good. We're going to land a little softer than if we didn't have those. So that's a good thing, right? So it's like check, check. Next thing is, you know, the crew is then getting ready for the splashdown. So they're just making sure, you know, their bodies are in the right position. They're all strapped in as good as they can. And the splashdown, of course, itself, you know, okay, boom, we're down, and now let's make sure we're staying upright, because that would be good and not be, you know, turned over, which we call stable 2. So that's another check. And now I think they're just hanging out, waiting for the rescue forces to come get them. Just happy, you know, to have them back on the ground. It's really awesome.
And Dave, to that point with the splashdown, how long before we could possibly see the astronauts?
Yeah, so there's a lot of excitement, and all the forces that have been training for this for a long time are starting to move in. You can see the small vessels moving in right now. From the hatch opening till having them in the med bay is going to be an hour or less is what they're shooting for. So they're going to get there as quick as possible, make sure everything is good, and then they're going to get them out of the capsule so they can start hoisting them.
All right, I want to turn to Nick Hague. You know, this is a small community. It's like you all are all family, having experienced this on some level, maybe not to this extent, obviously, but you've been to space, you've been in a splashdown, you're watching these images as they're coming in. What's going through your mind?
I'm happy for them. It's so exciting. I think that you mentioned a word, family, right? So the mission really isn't over until you get them back to their families, and so that's what this big team is out there doing. They're going to extract the crew. They're going to get them back to the vessel. They're going to get them on a helicopter that's going to take them back to San Diego, and then they're going to get on a plane and go back to Ellington and Houston and finally reunite with their families, and that's when, you know, the mission itself is pretty much over. But it's this is just watching them splash down. You know, you can't help but smile and feel the excitement and be proud of those 4 individuals and their families and the sacrifices that they've made, and the whole team at NASA and the whole team you see in action right here. It's just amazing what we can do when we come together, and this is a really proud moment for the country.
Absolutely. We just heard from NASA saying that Commander Reed Weissman just radioed in, and he said, quote, all 4 astronauts are in good condition. You know, something that struck me, Sunny, Dave, you guys could speak on this, but he said during one of his interviews, the challenge now is to this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived. How do we accomplish that?
Absolutely. You know, this is one of those things, this is like I mentioned in the beginning, this is just opening the door. What he meant by that was the next thing is going to be even better. The next thing is even better. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep exploring. We're going to keep finding questions that we didn't even think to ask by by doing this. And so I think the records, if they're distance, if they're time, whatever, we're going to, conquer those in short order. And we hope that we've inspired the next generation to take on that challenge and to dream big and to think about, things bigger than right in front of them. Like what is next? So I think that's the challenge. Dave?
And I think the Artemis motto says it all for all humanity.
Jana, if you're still with us, I want to bring that same question to you in terms of the idea of not letting this be the point where we stop and we're talking about another 50 years, but we're talking about this actively in the next 2 to 3 years as the race continues to be the first to do a lot of these different things.
Continues its post-test.
Yeah, it's an entirely new time when we're thinking about actually developing a station on the moon. And that's just a next adventure. Can we build places to live? Can we find the resources in the regolith? Can we extract water? Can we extract fuel? So it really is a new era. And obviously it's incredibly exciting. I was very nervous watching that splashdown, so I'm still recovering. But it's really a thrilling time.
Talk to us too about the funding. I mean, this mission we're talking billions of dollars every time to go up there. And as mentioned earlier in this special report, just having the support of different administrations. As people, will say, look at the things happening here on Earth. How can we afford to continue this exploration and want to see those positive results that could impact everybody, mankind?
Yeah, I think when we have missions like this, we have that overview effect that the astronauts have been talking about, looking at the Earth as a whole, having a sense that this isn't partisan, this is about being a human being, and it's an international effort, it's an international collaboration. And what we find historically is that by investing in science, by investing in curiosity, by celebrating exploration, that we also invent, we innovate, we end up impacting Earth in ways that are completely unforeseen, that we can't predict, but it lifts us all up. So it's not linear. It's not simply spend $1 or lose $1 somewhere else. It actually rises up all of us, I think, in the end.
And Jana, stay with us. Right now, though, I want to go to CBS News national correspondent Carter Evans. He's in San Diego. Carter?
It's not an issue. What is more important is...
I got to tell you, I had goosebumps here the whole time, and I breathed a sigh of relief when we came out of that 6-minute blackout. There are actually people here along the waterfront, even though you can't see this. People here are out there. They're looking. They're hoping they could see something, but I think people just want to be a part of this, and that's why they're here. And this does feel like a collective moment for all of us right now. Let's talk about what's going to happen next. We're in this period right now where Navy divers are kind of waiting. They're waiting for some of those hot, maybe dangerous gases to dissipate off the capsule, and then they're going to move in. And what's going to happen is they're going to install a stabilizing collar around the capsule, and basically that's going to keep it stable and keep it from rocking too much in the ocean. And then I also heard one of our astronaut commentators talking about the front porch. That's an inflatable raft that they're going to pull up to the front of this, where they're basically going to, those Navy divers who are also medical doctors are going to climb onto that raft. They're going to open the capsule, and they're going to go inside the capsule first to check on those astronauts, make sure they're okay, and then they're going to start moving forward with the mission to get them out. We've got 4 helicopters circling overhead right now, 2 for imagery and 2 to transport astronauts. Now, the order in which they're going to leave the capsule has already been decided. We're not sure what it is. We're not privy to that, but here's what's going to happen. They're going to hoist them up with helicopters, and they're going to bring them back over to the ship, and then they're going to start a barrage of medical tests. We're talking about saliva samples, blood tests, motor tests, cognitive tests, and those are going to be going on for the next few hours just to see how this space flight over the last 10 days in this microgravity environment has impacted these astronauts. Once they are ready, they could take a nap on the ship if they want. They could stay there for the night if they want, but more likely they're going to bring them back here to North Island Naval Station by helicopter. They could potentially spend the night here in San Diego at a hotel before they move on to Houston and reunite with their families.
All right, well, chivalry is not dead, so I want to see astronaut Cook come on first. Ladies first. I'm going to turn to you now, though, Rob Marciano, who has a special update for us. So excited about this one.
Well, it's a follow-up story, as we say in the news business. So last week at the last, I got to meet a lot of great Americans, a lot of young, aspiring astronauts.
astronauts as well outside the Kennedy Space Center. We got to speak with one young future astronaut. Take a listen.
I'm so obsessed with space, so I'll see it while I launch from ground to sky, so it'll be totally exciting.
Well, Commander Jack instantly launched to superstar status after that, as you can imagine. So we're bringing him back. There he is with Mom and Dad. Joining us, I assume, from Atlanta. They drove from Atlanta to the Space Center to watch the launch. And there you are. And Mom, did you watch the Space Center? Because I know it was not quite as white by the end of the launch there a week and a half ago.
We did watch it, but it's honestly stained. We need to get a new space center.
I love it. Get yourself an orange one. That's the key on launching and landing. All right, Jack, you just witnessed your first splashdown. What are you feeling right now?
Happy.
Were you nervous when we didn't hear from the astronauts for that 6-minute blackout period? No, you knew. And you're just like the astronauts on set here. They just don't get nervous. I think you're built for this stuff. So after everything that you've seen, you saw the launch with Mom and Dad and your sister and with me, and you've been watching it, I'm sure, throughout the week when you're not at school. Do you still want to be an astronaut after all this?
Yeah.
That's the right answer, Jack. That's the right answer. Look, I know it's past your bedtime, so I don't expect you to be as excited as you were the other afternoon. But I know that you have been wanting to ask the astronaut team a question. Why don't you share that with us if you're speaking to the astronauts right now?
Yeah, what did you want to tell them? What do you want to tell Artemis group? You said you wanted to thank them for something. Thank you for sending pictures to the world.
Thank you. I think we're all saying that. We're all saying thank you. Those pictures were absolutely stunning. Jack, do you have a favorite picture? Was it one of the moon itself? Is it the one with the moon and the Earth, or the one with the Earth so far away it looks so tiny? What was your favorite?
Think about it. It was like the one which had the word Mars on it, and it was pointing at it too.
So our favorite picture was the eclipse where you could see Mars in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And we showed him where one was labeled so that you could see that it was Mars. So that was our favorite picture, was the eclipse.
Yeah, that was so good.
There you go. I agree. I think you could see Saturn on that one, and all the stars. That was amazing. Hey, do you guys think you're going to go to the next launch?
You want to go see Artemis 3?
Yeah.
Artemis 3?
All right, Jack, Lauren, Matt, thank you so much.
Wait, is
Good luck
it
to
gonna be
you.
Artemis 3?
On a rocket here sometime in the near
I guess so.
future. Study hard and get yourself through school.
I mean, right
fine
now it's
young man.
Artemis
Thanks for joining
2.
us, guys.
So,
Yeah, I think we can all agree Jack is going far in life.
How old were you when you knew you wanted to be
Oh, my story is a little convoluted. I know it for a little while. I envy kids like that who have a goal right from the get-go and then go for it. It's pretty spectacular, and this really puts it, at their fingertips when they can be there, watching, the launch or watching pictures of the moon. They're thinking to themselves, why not? Let us do that. I'm older, so it only happened a couple times. That I remember. I was a little young when it all happened, but I can see where kids nowadays are seeing people going to space all the time, now seeing us go to the moon, and I can't imagine that they're not thinking, let me be part of that. I want to be part of that. And it's possible. It's possible. Well, what is possible is we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us as we continue to launch our coverage of Artemis 2.